The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast. It took 12 races here in the 2026 Area Cup Series, brought to you by the Studio Temporary, but the time has come for the chase. 12 drivers have their name in lights as they will set sail and fight for that coveted championship and all the glory and prizes that are associated with it. And to start that off, we head right here to the Windy City, to the now revitalized Chicagoland Speedway for 140 laps of fun, and we are so happy to be back here at this track. Welcome everybody to PTR TV for today's covers of the Area Cup Series presented by the Studio Temporary, and 140 laps here around this 1.5 mile tri-oval. Gonna be myself, Corey Silva, in the booth, and dusted off the microphone and the folding chair is Brad Dalton, back in the seat with me here today for the coverage. Brad, obviously this is a track that has just come off of the death burner list, and we're gonna go playoff racing here to figure out who's gonna start their chase off in the best way.
Yeah, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's so nice to be back here to kick things off here with the chase for Season 8. I was just sitting here looking at the points, looking at the run-through, looking at who is in what position to run in the day. Van Drugman, of course, boy wonder, as I'm going to call him, 4 wins on the season out of 12 races, but if it's not up at the front, it's been at the back. So kicking it off 5th in the standings, your defending champion Jake Nichols sitting 2nd place. You've got James Scioli leading us in, and well, when we actually sit and we look at the tracks that are coming up for this chase, it's going to be a challenge. I think whoever wins this is truly going to be in a position when we hit August 3rd to deserve to be called a champion, because it's a challenging chase schedule.
Absolutely, and there is the point standing. Scioli up by 10 as the regular season champion. Seth Knoll not too far back. And then you look at the end, there is coming out of the pits now for qualifying Sebastian Marin, started 34 points back. But remember, he actually did miss a race, so the fact that he even made it in was quite the feat with the season that he's had. You talked about Van Drugman, who maybe hasn't had the best of luck, but as you said, Brad, that schedule looking pretty arduous here. We head to Chicago. Next week, we head to Thunder Valley, the Bristol Motor Speedway, a short track. And then we'll head to Charlotte, another short track in the name of Richmond, and then what drivers are calling the wild card race at the what should be a high-speed draft pack at Auto Club. So we'll see what happens there, but qualifying is on the docket. Qualifying is underway. Let's see who is top of the board thus far, and it is a chase driver, not the one you may have thought, but Michael Curhan coming out ready to play here today.
Good to see that number 24 up there on the top. Hasn't won this season, but 4 top 10s, putting you in a position to get into the chase. Just what you have to do. Sometimes being consistent, the most important thing. Sebastian Marin, 3 milliseconds there off of Michael Curhan's top time here. Going through, Josh Cottle, 4th. Van Drugman finding a time. So some of our chase drivers picking to wait till the end to go through and trying to find some times along. Let's see what defending champion Jake Nichols can do here on the pace. 5th place, and well, that's an interesting position to find yourself in if you're the defending champion.
Yeah, 5th place will be a good spot, but obviously he would have liked to be a little bit higher. And you know why Michael Curhan's P1? Because he has an area hat on, and you could head to shop.iRacing.com and get your iRacing area swag at low prices there at shop.areairacing.com. Interesting place to get that plug in. But also, we want to thank everyone for tuning in at PTR TV. Of course, if it's your first time, don't make it your last. Hit the like and subscribe button. And if you're on Twitch, consider hitting the like and follow button there. Subscribing also for $5 a month. Custom points, custom emotes, double points, and those double points can get you some of that cool swag that Michael Curhan is using here on the evening. But again, just the Chicagoland Speedway, which, I mean, a lot of drivers haven't run it because it's so outdated in the realm of NASCAR. 1 and apparently 0.53 miles that I've just now learned, but famously known for the curved backstretch, Brad, which just kind of gives you a little bit of an easier entry to turn number 3, where you're never actually going straight.
Yeah, this backstretch really does kind of, I don't want to call it the most unique backstretch in all of NASCAR, but it definitely puts itself up there because of the fact that you are always turning. You see the entry cones there on the fence, of course, the 3, 2, 1 countdown to help with entry, but even then, like, those cones, I mean, you're still turning. All you kind of do is just add a little bit more wheel than what you were doing, and it's going to create some good racing. I think we're going to see some interesting moments where drivers are going to get caught up side by side and then pack battling and forget the fact that we're always turning left here, literally always turning left.
Which is the name of the game here, and that's what we will be doing all throughout the chase here with no road courses to come astray here. Now, we do have a pretty minor amount of penalties here on the evening, and it is going to be Rocky Boyd, it is going to be Adam Cabot, the Moose, and Newbigging, though they will all have end-of-line penalties here to start things off. 16 has a drive-through, and the 4, okay, never mind. 16 is a drive-through, 45 of the Moose has a end-of-line. We'll figure it out. Anywho, we got to head down trackside for that Central Mobile Homes starting lineup. Of course, if you're looking for a new shed or Triple Crown trailer, look no further than Central Mobile Homes, proudly serving Florida customers for 30 years with a plethora of large and small home floor plans, shed designs, and Triple Crown trailers. Available in LaBelle, Okeechobee, Clewiston, and Sebring. Head to CentralMobileHomesInc.com for all that information. But Brad, let's head down and give them that Central Mobile Homes starting lineup.
And starting out here on the front, it is going to be a chase driver front row here. Michael Curran up in the front with Sebastian Marin in second place. P3 will be Boy Wonder Van Drugman from Clarksville, Tennessee, with Zach Carr in fourth. Fifth place going along will be Jake Nichols, Josh Caudill in sixth. Chase drivers again looking for some charges, and David Weishart in seventh. Adam Cabot in eighth. Logan Helton in ninth, and Travis Beckner rounding out your top 10.
Heading outside of the top 10, you find Jeremy Miller and Seth Knoll. He's going to have a little bit of work to do. He'll do it from outside of row number 6. Bryce Senesac and the boss man, Jacob Bell. So close to winning at Talladega, but 14th is where he'll start. Ryan Swan in the Blue Tip Pool Builders car in 15th. Rocky Boyd has a penalty, a drive-through penalty in the 16th spot, so he will not match his car. Number 17th is Drew Jua with Cole Hooper in 18th. Rounding out our top 20, Philip Groner in the In-N-Out Burger car of Brandon Watkins.
21st on the night will be Douglas Newbigging with James Scioli in 22nd place. Garrett Grant will round it off 23rd with Seth Berger in the Bergarts Motorsports Chevrolet in 24th. 25th place will be Ben Pierce with Reese Schaefer outside 26th. Some of these chase drivers further back than they want to be. Justin Levine in 27th. Joseph Kazi, 28th place. Brett Puncari and Justin Anasogak, your 30th place car here.
And then we're just rounding things through. John Forbes, a last-second playoff edition here, or chase edition. And then we have Hayden Swank, Patrick Moose going to the back, Tyler Nichols, Max Service, and then Christian DeBoer, the final of the 37 entrants here this evening. We did have Frankie Barroso technically in the chase, qualified for it with his points position, but unfortunately for him, not able to attend here today and didn't want to hold up a spot if he wasn't able to fully race it. So John Forbes kind of getting there's a word for this situation. And it's in theater. When you're the second person, help me out, Brett. You're not the star, but you're on stage. You're preparing. There's a word.
My gosh.
There's a word for this, folks.
I'm gonna find that word.
PTR TV stickers for whoever finds that word. But Jeepers Creepers is bothering me so much. Our track temp here is 96 degrees, 81.
Understudy.
Yes. Do I have to send you stickers?
No.
Okay. 81 degrees in the air, 96 degree track temp, 5 p.m. virtual time. So we're going to race till not even sunset, but it will get cooler as a fresh new IKEA that wasn't here on the prior update of this track off of turn number 4. But we will head to 1 to green. You can see the laundry list, kind of a small laundry list, but you can see it, of drivers in the back there who have had to heed to their penalties.
Yeah, and getting the end of line here going through early on in the chase, probably a better place to get it, to be honest, than trying to wait later in the season. If I were a chase driver having to serve an end of line, I'd probably do it right now, because if you can knock it out in the first round, this track is one where you can really get away with a penalty and having to serve one. If you're at Bristol next week, that's going to be a rough one. Charlotte in 2 weeks, that's probably not where I'd want to serve a penalty. Neither Richmond, and then, well, Auto Club's going to be Auto Club. So, I mean, if you're looking for a time to serve an end of line, it's now, and then probably don't get one for the rest of the season. How about that? Because this kicks off the chase, and if you don't have a good day today, it's a bad time for the rest of the season.
It is certainly. You don't have enough races to be able to recover here in just a 5-race campaign. But let's get things all started off here. The Area Studio Temporary Cup Series coming here. 5 races to decide a champion. Michael Curhan doing things in the best possible spot here from the front row. Into the start box here. Barney has the flag in hand. We are chase racing in Joliet.
And up front already you have Sebastian Marin and Michael Curran trying to battle it out side by side. Drugman and Carr, third and fourth, trying to go 2 by 2 here early on, and Marin is going to get up to the front out of the exit of 2, and we're already big contact in the mid-pack there, and that's back near Jeremy Miller, 3 wide, 4 wide.
Oh, no!
Cannon. Well,
Helton.
Big wreck early on. We're still green.
That's Logan Helton. He is a chase driver, and that is significant damage. But as you did allude to, we stay green. Let's check out what happened to him here. Was that contact from the back? He kind of got washed up the track, and that was almost a double whammy. Yeah, that just went on for the whole corner, but I think he entered the corner. What in heaven's name?
Is that one of those Fanatec wheel failures that I've been seeing everyone talk about online? Just doesn't work there for the 30?
We're going to leave that one up to interpretation here, but through all of that hoopla, Sebastian Marin did take the race lead. And Seth Knoll, who I believe, didn't he start outside of the top 10? Yeah, he's already up to third just in the opening sequence.
One of the big losses, a couple of drivers really losing places here. Jacob Bell lost 15 places on the race start all the way down into 29th place now. And then also Adam Cabot lost 11 places on the race start, dropping well down the order. You had going through, Cole Hooper made up 10 places along. Seth Knoll, of course, up 9. Making some moves, and then behind them as well, watch out for Brandon Watkins, already up 9 places. So multiple drivers already shuffling up and down this order here early on as we're starting lap number 5. These laps are going to go pretty quick. 140 of them, though, plenty of time for things to go sideways if they need to.
Yeah, as we kind of saw there very early in today's race, as even admin, we get the little admin talk of the penalty situation and just calling it an interesting circumstance there, which is what we will also consider that ourselves. Let's go back, just find some side-by-side, find some good close racing, as they are all single file here. Now, of course, the next gen first having its experience here at Chicagoland, and saw in the real world, the bumps here at Chicago, not enjoying the underbodies here. So you really do have to worry about that, namely through 3 or 4, Brad. These cars are so close to the ground, doesn't take much to get them upset.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to get them upset, and doesn't take much to beach them in the grass either. Honestly, these next-gen cars can really, really have some interesting moments there. Well, that is not what you want to see from Logan Helton. Up in the wall, still trying to make that car work. I really thought
is he
Logan
waiting for someone, is my question right now.
I don't want to think that, but that's a strong wall ride if I've ever seen one.
Well, if he was waiting for someone, he missed it. But anywho, we'll go back to other circumstances at play here, and that's Jake Nichols. You can see the Chase banner on his windshield there, and he got washed up, I think, through the bumps there, nearly into Cole Hooper, and remain side by side. David Weishart to his arrears here, but talked about those bumps. They are quite prominent in 3 and 4. There is a big dip in turn 1 and 2 as well. Doesn't seem to affect the cars as much, but stuck to the bottom of the track and nearly into his left rear. Has to fall back in line.
I feel like these drivers are aware that they're into the chase and that they are really keeping their P's and Q's on, but also at the same time, if you're not a chase driver, I mean, you're still racing for wins, you're still racing for show, you're still racing to get back for next season because you want to keep your seat for next year and not get knocked out of your team. So these drivers really know that right now it is still all to play for, whether you're in the chase or not. And well, if you're in the chase, you're going to play a little cautiously. If you're not in the chase, I don't want to say you're going to give the chase drivers a little bit of breathing room, but you're going to make it known that you're still there. I mean, there are still some championships to decide, and of course, if you're not in the chase, you still get wins, you still get points, you still look good.
Yeah, that is something that does come up quite frequently, and it probably will come up closer to Auto Club, where drivers who aren't in the chase are going to feel that pressure to not be that guy, not be the driver who gets in the way and interrupts the season of somebody going for the championship. We saw it a lot in the winner-take-all one-race situation, but I think we may see it in a slightly lesser degree here. As we have Douglas Newbigging here, Joseph Causey back in the 20s. Causey, of course, getting an interview the other day. I think it was at Talladega last week, if memory does serve. But up front, Seth Knoll, who he is just doing something right here in Joliet. He started 12th, and he is already right to the back of Sebastian Marin. Look at the bumps through 3 and 4. I tell you, as a driver, I struggle with the high line here in 3 and 4, but Seth Knoll, he does not have that same struggle.
And not at all here, able to keep the car together and keep things moving, keeping the pressure on Marin. And I think it's interesting to look at that 24 and 3rd as well, who hasn't really been putting pressure up in the front here early on. And Corey, that's one of the things that, you know, going into this race, I really expected to see some big challenges up to the front like this. Look at Seth going for a move to the inside, not able to make it stick through, but definitely Marin knows that Seth is there and is having to really think about that a bit going through this race. Is caution number 1.
Brad?
Uh-oh, I don't like how you said that.
Well, I don't know. I'm just purely, okay, that is just completely a quinky dink here. Ryan Swan, a little bit of a slide in front of Jeremy Miller, and he just kind of pulled off the Kyle Larson and just got loose in the bumps in turn 4, and unfortunately, fortunately, he didn't cause any issues, but he did, have a little risky situation there, trying to get that thing stopped, but luckily we don't have flat spots, and he's not a beached whale in the mud like Larson was, and he'll keep chugging.
So glad to see him able to get back up and going here, because of course that is a less than ideal position to be in. Well, we saw how it went with Larson. Honestly, that was something. All I'm going to say on that one is we go through caution number 1, 14 laps of 140. So we're a 10th of the way through this race, and a lot of people into the pits, more than I expected. Marin stays out, Van Drugman stays out, and it looks like Seth Knoll, first one to rip through, and everybody says, I'll follow you in. We'll make this happen.
Now, it is early. Now, remember, they have 4 sets of tires, and now we haven't really checked out what the situation will be with fall off and, you know, how you want to strategize. Do you want to leave them on the table? Do you want to just do 2 tires, fuel only? The trends of the race here do tend to lean towards this being a long green flag race. And it is 4 tires. We always thank our pal Hunter Sleppy with his analytics that he does provide us here. And in the 5 prior seasons that Area has run here at Chicagoland, they have averaged going with the last caution with 73 laps to go. So that would mean a long run, a fuel stop to the end. One finish, season 6, did have overtime, but to that point of Seth Knoll there, Brad, he's won this thing 3 times. So someone knows how to get around Chicago, as indicated by him driving through the field.
Yeah, making moves early, and you can see, I would honestly say, going to be one to watch on strategy. A few guys, though, rolling the dice at the moment here. Douglas Newbigging up 18 places by not pitting. The Moose up 29 by deciding not to pit there, and that 45 just behind. It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, 15 laps on tires you would think would be the end of the world, but again, this track, you're constantly turning, constantly pushing, and constantly putting a load on the tires. So, I mean, I could see the justification for even just 15 laps making a big enough difference here on the tires to really benefit everyone behind. Marin and Drugman seem to think different, though, so I don't know. Just buckle in and see what happens.
Absolutely. Van Drugman, who kind of had the Tyler Reddick of seasons where he just won a myriad of races to start things through and just hasn't had the luck of late. In fact, his last of his wins came back at Indianapolis in mid-May. So that is, I guess, for him, a 5-race losing streak, which in his terms is quite large. And, you know, he would love to break that. Sebastian Marin himself, only 1 win on the season. He hasn't won since the end of April at Michigan. So 2 of our heavy hitters trying to make something happen here now that the lights are shining brightest, as a NASCAR reporter once said. But we're heading into the restart box once again, and back on the loud pedal. Marin's going to waste no time getting going, and now Newbigging to the inside. But let's see how those tires blend through the field, Brad.
And get this one rolling here pretty quick on, and well, you can see for Van Drugman and Newbigging already battling through. It's nearly 3 wide behind that as these drivers are pushing it hard here. Coming along behind it is 3 wide actually coming through. Watch out for Justin Levine, who is working through almost 4 wide there as Seth Knoll tries to make the move work. Does so out of the exit of 4 and down the front stretch. I mean, they're still spread out 3 wide, almost 4 wide.
Yeah, trying to take advantage of those tires, and Seth Knoll doing just that. Newbigging kissing the fence there, and that will cost him the spot to Levine there, or Levine. We covered him for like multiple years, and I still don't remember how to say it. But there is Knoll down to the inside of Newbigging. The tires they had a good impact right off the bat, but they're not night and day. And I will say, Jake Nichols just ran the 3 and 4 wall like a boss.
Jake Nichols ripping that car around right now, is really looking quick, I gotta say, for that number 73. Down 3 places on the day so far, but of course did pit in, so that's where that shuffling comes through, and looking to chase down a championship run here for Jake Nichols. Of course, your defending champion sitting 2nd in points, and there's a driver who's going to know what it takes to be quick and work to win a championship in something as competitive as Area.
No.
But the one big,
that was Seth Knoll
slide there.
See what happened here on our instant replay through the tri-oval of all places, not where you usually expect a driver to have issues. Now that was Newbigging to his rear. Oh, well, that's why he got loose. Great bit of driving to save it.
I don't know how he saved it. I'm going to call that a lot of skill and a little bit of luck. letting Sentinel save that down into 11th place now, but still really not out of the realm of challenging forward here and should be able to put some pressure. Speaking of which, Van Drugman and Marin, let's see how this plays out. I feel like I'm commentating Lightning McQueen and the King right now going through.
Oh, it just reminds me of... Actually, I don't even know what it reminds me of. So we're going to stick with that reference that you had. But I will say, Levine doing a good job hanging on here. Let's talk about the lap times here at this juncture in the race. And Sebastian at a 9. And the first person on fresh tires, that is going to be Justin Levine, whatever it may be. And actually a little bit slower. Now, some of that's dirty air, but that does show you that those, however many laps on tires they were, 15, didn't really amount to too much. But look at Jake Nichols sending it in there deep on the top.
Jake Nichols said, you know what, there's a wall here and there's a car to the inside and I see gap, if gap car, and makes that one stick. Jake Nichols up to third now and looking at ace for days right now coming through on the run. Last time 3/10 quicker than Van Drugman and Marin, and going to try to close up. But look at John Forbes Jr. here from 31st to 4th and is putting some pressure in here, trying to take advantage of getting into that chase here and prove that, you know what, I wasn't just a lucky entry here, I'm going to be a winner.
Yeah, remember, he is our playoff, our chase. Guys in the chat and watching this, we know it's a chase. We're just going to interchangeably say it. You know what we mean. I don't feel like correcting myself every time, but obviously our add-on there, John Forbes getting in and taking the most advantage of it here, but Van Drugman still trying to find his way by that number 66. And then there goes Levine all the way to the top, and the top of 3 and 4 is very bumpy. Apparently they've smoothed it out, or he's just that dagnam good, but that was impressive to rim ride. We didn't see that in the real world, but we're seeing it in the sim, and it is certainly takes a whole bunch of brass cajones to do that.
I don't envy the position that Justin Levine is in right now. Look at all of the yellow banners around him, both on the cars and on the timing tower here. If you are in that number 19th position, you know that you're kind of in a no man's land right now because you are racing for a win and maybe trying to race to keep your car in one piece at this rate. Is Van Drugman with a big move. Look at Jake Nichols, 3 wide up in the front. Jake Nichols somehow barely to the lead here as Van Drugman still challenging along to the inside, and Marin says, nah, I'm still here, I'm on top, I'm gonna go for it into 3.
Yeah, let's go take another look at that on replay here, because that indeed was a great move through the middle of the sandwich here. The space was there, and again, fresh tires have made that 73 obviously the cream of the crop temporarily here. We'll wait to see how long this does go on through. Will we have green flag stops, because there will be a difference in situations here. I do imagine that we probably will have to make 2 stops here. I think fuel load's around 60-ish laps, so I don't know if anybody could do it on 1, but I imagine you probably wouldn't want to with the tires. But here's Travis Beckner, of course, with Hendry County on their summer hiatus. You can check him out on August 29th, as they'll be back for that, as I'm calling it, tape the flashlights on the cars and turn the lights off at Hendry County. You can check it out at henryracing.com for more specific details. But he is in the 8th spot with the Moose, who had a penalty behind. And there's Drew Jua. Remember, he's in the chase as well. He had some good solid runs, nearly won that Michigan race.
In a great position as well, coming in 7th here. No wins, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s, and consistency has been the name of the game here. That's really all of your chase drivers. It's been a lot of consistency, a little bit of luck, a lot of skill go a long way here. So keep an eye through the rest of this season, through the playoffs here. 5 rounds, and again, especially with Bristol next week and Richmond in round 4 of the chase here, it is going to be a game of luck and skill combined that's really going to see drivers maximize the points and their wins. It's going to be a combination here, Corey, of driving smart and don't get yourself in a bad position, but also get lucky and don't get caught up in the messes as they happen.
Absolutely, especially when you head to Bristol, anything can happen. Charlotte will be kind of narrow track, much narrower here than at Charlotte than here at Chicagoland. Richmond is is the most skilled track here, in my opinion, with how much the tires wear there. I think that's going to really test these drivers out the hardest. And then Auto Club, the way that it races with 5 to 6 lanes, and the draft is huge. I think it is going to be a little more luck, but definitely getting yourself in the right spot. And having the points to spare is going to be chronically important there. But we're 30 laps in. We have ourselves a good little run going on here. Let's pull up the stint tracker so you can see that the fresh tires have gotten to the front. Noel has recovered from that front straightaway little excursion and is doing a bang-up job. But it just makes you wonder there, Brad. I mean, is it going to be a green flag race? And if so, how much damage is Sebastian and company willing to endure here on those older tires?
It's definitely looking like this race is trending in a very predictable manner of the way it's going to go. And I mean, it's, again, the Area Cup Series. You wouldn't expect anything less from these drivers here at the skill level that we run at. But, you know, it is one of those in your head. These drivers are going to be running all the scenarios in their head right now with their teams and kind of thinking, okay, if we stay green, what do I do here? If I think there's going to be a caution, what do I do? If there is a caution at this point, how does it affect me with this and this? So they're running all of the scenarios, but I will tell you right now, if I was Sebastian Marin, if I was some of these front runners, I'm running this thing absolutely empty on fuel. I am running this thing until it can't run anymore and then throw a set of tires on it.
And Brad, every time you say in your head, do you know what song instantly comes to my head?
I do, yes.
Do you guys in chat know what comes to my head? What's in my head? Anyways, we do have Adam Cabot to the inside. Josh Cottle, remember he won that race at Talladega in the most exciting of manners here. David Weishart going back to our Season 1 Area Cup champion there. And then James Scioli. Have we really talked about the 7? Well, we can't talk about him if he's not here. Now he's back. Don't really feel like, have we? Well, maybe that's why we haven't talked about him. He's obviously having some issues, and hopefully in a race of this magnitude, they don't take him out of it.
Yeah, Scioli here just trying to stick into a mix and stay competitive there in the Houdini P15 right now at lucky number 7. I think really being lucky with the connection as we go side by side. Justin Levine here looking to make some moves. Drew Jua, Travis Beckner. Justin Levine, since we talked about him there, is okay, that's a way to run the wall.
I mean, that's commitment. So it definitely worked out, but let's go to the front of the field. John Forbes has taken the lead. And that is, what a story that would be if John Forbes can get himself in good playoff condition after having a last-second add-on here. Just Nichols didn't get a good run running his lane, and just an easy run down the back straightaway. Send it off into 3, and that is a lead change.
That was a pretty as you please, pretty relaxed pass, you have to say. Now, the problem is you got to defend it because here comes Van Drugman to the inside, and look at Jake Nichols right there to the back. John Forbes, though, not cracking under the pressure, holding right there in the mix, and as we go down into 1 and 2, Van Drugman now trying to challenge Jake Nichols here for second place, and look at Marin ripping the wall, sticking behind there. Sebastian Marin trying to get into the namesake here and turn this fight into a 4-car fight up in the front here. Is, well, your top 6 are all chase drivers. Your top 4 are separated by a whole lot of nothing. And it really does look like Marin took some breathing room for a moment, let the tires kind of reset, and now is going right back towards the front.
So something that I'm really interested in now is I feel like the tires have equalized. They've flatlined, so to speak, because we just talked about, all right, Sebastian, he was just falling back into the clutches of Noel in Curhan, and now he has a second wind. And Van Drugman, remember him, he is also on the older set of tires, but now he has a second breath on life here, and now he's running that ripper lane up top 3 and 4. He is right back in the thick of it. So maybe those old tires struggled for 15 laps, but put them on a long run. Never mind, I'm all right.
seems like there's something letting these tires come back through. I mean, John Forbes, last lap 31.
It was just getting juicy. So much juice, and not even because they were animal-style fries. Let's see what happened to Brandon Watkins.
Watkins here coming through down into 3, and almost saved. Never mind. I was going to say
Brent Pancari there. Had a little bit of a whammy. And couldn't save it. There, he saved it there. And there goes Jacob Bell, just swerving and getting himself through. Well, that was some great long run racing, and unfortunately, it has gone the way of the caution flag here, and this will be an interesting situation, mainly because everyone's going to have to pit. I can't really see a situation where people aren't pitting. However, this is going to be the second set of tires, probably within what should be one stint, Brad. So those drivers who already pit, they're going to have to really manage those last 2 sets.
Yeah, I think it's interesting the fact that we do have a good chunk of the field that already took a set of tires and a run of fuel after just 15 laps. They've put themselves in a bit of a pickle here, I have to say, with 98 laps to go, and looking at how that pace was going, how everything was going, I just don't know how 98 laps is going to treat on 2 sets of tires to get to the end here. Drew Jua staying out, by the way, the number 96.
I mean, we did talk about old tires not being the worst situation. Well, taking that logic to full bore there, Reese Schaefer did go into the pits, but didn't actually stop in his box. So whether I assume he'll come back in. He's, again, is another one of our chase drivers here. I do want to, of course, thank all of our partners here, or at least one at a time here in the Area Cup Series, and most notably, well, not most notably, but as where is he on the racetrack? Where is our boy Ryan Swan right now? Because he has our Blue Tip Pool Builders car. He's out of the race. What happened to Ryan? I don't know. But anywho, Blue Tip Pool Builders, head to bluetippools.com. Get your pool up and running, nice and clean, all dolled up, or perhaps get your outdoor lounging area or outdoor kitchen looking the way it should. And if you don't have one, they can make you one. Head to bluetippools.com and make sure your outdoor space is looking good here for our summer season. But we are now on 1 to go. Drew Jua going to be on 28 lap old tires in front of the field.
And then Van Drugman there to the outside with Sebastian Marin behind. It's going to be interesting to see one driver staying out, and Corey, you and me have seen this play out several times before, where one driver rolls the dice, stays out on fairly old tires, everyone else pits, and then, well, we know where this plays out for Drew Jua. If you are a Drew Jua fan, I'm sorry.
Now we'll see how the wheel spin does work out. Of course, we are on the 670 package here on the intermediate, so, but it is an old track, 25 years old. Not sure where iRacing has it on the grip-o-meter there, but we'll see how this restart does fare. Older tires, and then Van Drugman, John Forbes, Marin, and Curhan. A whole bunch of yellow splitters, spoilers, and the like in the front of the field. But now into the restart box once again. How will this race get back to going? Looks like nice and smoothly for now as we get through the gears.
Drew Jua with a beautiful getaway. I did not expect that, as John Forbes and Van Drugman will battle it side by side for second. Marin's going to duck to the high line there. Think about a 3-wide run out of 2. Doesn't take it, but apparently 29 lap old tires don't make a difference on the day here. Drew Jua leads into 3.
He's going to run that higher lane and struggle through the bumps, and there goes Van Drugman with the head of steam, and out of the outside of Van Drugman trying to get that top lane is Marin. Doesn't quite have the position, but now entering the corner, Van Drugman guessed low. That's where Jua went. He had to change his lane mid-corner, and he did so successfully, getting the run to the top for the race lead.
Great move there, and Marin going to follow along as well. The LPG teammates there, Van Drugman and Drujua, kind of looking to play nice with each other a bit. And I think Drujua going to look, one, for chase points, and two, to maybe help the teammate of Van Drugman out just a little bit here. Sebastian Marin in second place, all over the back of Van Drugman coming along, and well, somehow still Drujua holding in third. I fully expected that to be a cannonball shot backwards out into the back of the pack, and well, maybe if I had held on for a couple more seconds, it'd come to fruition.
Well, right now, starting to do a slow struggle there on the bottom of the racetrack. Here's Travis Beckner, Adam Cabot, Seth Knoll, and just behind that, Justin Anasogak with a solid run there in the top 10, along with Douglas Newbigging. So we do have some positions changing here, and this is Cabot, who is really making that top of the racetrack work. Look at him run off of turn number 2 on board with Curhan. He falls back in line, and there is that elusive area hat that I always talk about. That's what got Curhan the pole, is that area hat. Go to shop.areairacing.com and get yours. But that, I'll tell you, the cheese man, he's found something here. I don't know if it's fondue, I don't know if it's Gouda, Monterey, or Pepper Jack, but the cheese man is making some progress.
Might be some freshly grated Parmesan if we're honest, because it's a good topping of the day here to try to get some moves forward here and along. Look at Van Drugman, by the way, up at the front. Getting a bit swervy there behind Sebastian Marin, swerving left, right, trying to look for a move, trying to do that classic fake out of, I'm going to go inside, Marin defends inside, and then loses speed, and you swing it around, or the other way around where you get Marin to defend outside, then swing it inside. Isn't able to do anything with that right now, but John Forbes Jr. staying right all over the back of Van Drugman, working into the backstretch and really keeping that pressure. A big wreck in the back.
That is Douglas Newbigging. That is all the way off in no man's land, so that traditionally does not cause a caution, and that indeed will be the case here. Let's check out what happened to Mr. Newbigging. He was 3 wide off the corner, and he got moosed, not intentionally, of course, just ran out of space.
Take a look here, one more angle as they go, and a little bit of contact and trying to avoid the wall, slides, and yeah, it's not at all how you want that to work, but at least your car stayed out of the wall. You live to fight another day.
Beckner is not the owner of a breakfast shop, but he has some pancakes there through turn number 4. Lost a ton of spots, caused a lot of stack up through the field. And now he is back well outside the top 10. Cole Hooper there, nearly 4 wide off the corner with the moose. Brandon Watkins, remember, he just spun out, but all that has seemed to normalize out. And what's not normalizing out is a battle for the lead here. Sebastian Marin, he wants it, took a look to the inside. Not quite yet.
Marin playing that long, patient game, which is kind of a big staple point here of Sebastian Marin, to play that long, patient, smart game anytime he's out on track and just sit and wait and pounce at the most opportune moment. Isn't necessarily going to say, all right, I'm faster than you, let me take off now, but is going to say, I'm maybe faster than you, let me breathe for a minute, let me set this thing up really well, and then at that point, I'll go for the pass, because that's where the big difference will be for me versus you. And then I really think Jake Nichols and John Forbes are up for a big challenge here through this race, as we are approaching lap 54 of 140.
Now this race chugging along here, about 45 minutes of racing left. If this goes green, here is a battle with Adam Cabot and Van Drugman, the cheese man. I know, Brad, I had to teach you that Cabot is a brand of cheese that is sold nationwide at your local grocer. Joke has not been made, but I've made it now, and he's side by side. And then look at, that is Justin Levine there, or Levine. I don't know why, I don't remember, but either way, he has a head of steam coming off the corner. And watch him, he's doing the Afro Band, because he got high in 3 and 4 and still getting the run. Look at that momentum that 19 has.
What a move there from Justin Levine, going along the inside here, carrying that momentum, looking to make pace along as Van Drugman has dropped down, and now Adam Cabot trying to work that high line as well. They're essentially just trying to split the chase drivers and run through, and doing a doggone good job of it, you have to say, as they look to work past Nichols, Marin, and John Forbes here momentarily. They should be able to.
He has whatnot on the side of his car. That app has caused me so much financial loss with my partner in the last couple weeks. So we're going to, on that cause, go off of him there, as we'll have to go on to what caused this caution. And Philip Groner will be groaning in dismay after whatever has taken him out of the race. Let's go back and try and sort this through.
Coming into 3 here, and we'll be looking along.
4 wide. This isn't a top tier iRacing channel where you're not allowed to say flaws with the simulator. So call it as it is. That's what you call netcode.
One more shot of it here. Again, just big time netcode as these 4 cars come through. And
from that angle, it looked legit, but I'll tell you, factually here, I'm trying to find a camera angle that really shows this, but I mean, the first angle showed it well. There was netcode involved. Would that contact have happened? Probably, but probably not to the severity that we witnessed. But either way, this will be a tough decision, Brad. That sequence was 15 laps. That's the same distance of the first caution, I do believe. Some drivers, they can't spare that extra set of tires. That'd be set number 3. They can't spare it. Pit road seeming to be a very empty place, which is not a surprise to many there. I think that's Drew Jua, first to peel in, back in the mid-teens.
Into the pits here, about half the field is... The rest of the field stays out. Notably, John Forbes stays out, Marin stays out, Nichols stays out, Drugman stays out, Cabot stays out, and Justin Levine stays out. So a lot of your drivers saying, you know what, 16 laps, that's fine on fuel, that's fine on tires, I'll make it work. Some of your notable pits here, I have to say, Drew Jua into the pits here, Weishart, Seth Berger, Jacob Bell in Newbiggingen, Garrett Grant.
Oh, what happened to Garrett Grant?
That's a heavy, heavy damage on that shop area iRacing number 5.
Yeah, I mean, I'll try to see if there's any trigger that would indicate what caused that, because I certainly didn't see it. But however you slice it, John Forbes having a phenomenal run this evening. I mean, it's not a surprise. John Forbes is not a driver who... you see who just kind of lucked into the spot. He has always been someone who is not a surprise to see in the top 10. Haven't really seen him this season have the winning speed, but I think of the 2011 at the time Sprint Cup Series, Tony Stewart snuck his way into the chase and then reeled off 5 in a row and won the bloody thing. So, to quote Kevin Garnett, in the 2007 Boston Celtics NBA championship, anything is possible. It's also sad that was 20 years ago. And let's not talk about Jaylen Brown. Anyways, go on, Brad.
Anything's possible with a little bit of luck and a whole lot of skill, but I always come back to this, and I hate to be the one to come back to this time and time again because it makes me feel like a big old pessimist for everyone. A little bit of luck is always needed when you're going for the win of the chase, because you can do it on skill alone, but the thing is, you're not going to do it on skill alone. And the day you accept that, the day it gets you in a better position here. And I think for John Forbes, it definitely seems like that's been accepted, that it takes a lot of skill, maybe a little bit of luck as well. And for John Forbes leading the field around here towards green for lap 60 at 140, about to hit half race distance. Marin on the squeeze. Let's see here going into lap 60 how they get along. Green flag out. We're racing.
And that is the whole shot, but not for long. He's going to squeeze them down to the bottom there. Really sacrifice both of their their corner entries here. And Van Drugman had the best run there off the top, and he's going to take that momentum, find some place to put it off the corner. Here comes Sebastian for an attempt at the lead on the bottom in 3. Is he going to do a Sebastian diver? I think he's going to, unless Forbes can recover on corner exit.
John Forbes Jr. tried to hold that for a lap, wasn't able to. Marin will lead into lap number 60 of 140 here. And watch Van Drugman in third. Going to be very, very hungry to get back towards the front, but then should, at some point here in about 15 laps, if we stay green, may start to slip and should start to slip down the order a little bit here because of just the nature of this track and the nature of the tires. You kind of drive a bit too hard, you lose a little bit on the tires, you drop a little bit, let them cool off, let them get back together, and then you start pushing again. That's what we've seen kind of happen out of the front of the field all day, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's not what we're going to start seeing here soon.
Oh, Seth Knoll nearly getting some freshly grated cheese there, kind of rubbed up into Adam Cabot there, trying to make the pass on the bottom, still side by side. And Seth Knoll with the 3 wins here in area at Chicagoland, would love to do 4. See Justin Levine ripping the top as he's done successfully, and there's some more. You talked about grated Parmesan there. We got a plenty of it here.
Absolutely here for Cabot, trying to work around here with Seth Knoll. Again, your defending area champion, not going to be one to be taken on too lightly here in the number 1 at all, coming along into the final runs. And of course, Jake Nichols, another defending area champion, tons of pace here coming into the go down across the line. And keep an eye up here on the front, Van Drugman on the inside of John Forbes.
We know how difficult it is to clear on the bottom of the racetrack. John Forbes will have the momentum off of the corner that outside lane does allow, and that will live another day, give him P2 for another set of corners. Van Drugman drove right into the dirty air. That's going to certainly detriment him, and does look like the 70 is starting to struggle. Seth Knoll just made himself some wall contact there, and you know Jake Nichols trying to work his way through. Let's go back. I thought I saw some 3 wide.
Looking back through some 2x2 here that we're seeing a bit further back. That is Rocky Boyd getting in the mix of this one with Drew Jua. And, you know, taking a look at these drivers as they run along, that 2 wide, that 3 wide, everyone fans out through the corners, but in the straights, they all know where that pace is at. They slot up nose to tail, and they look to all continue to charge up towards the front. And honestly, the top 4 aren't gaining that much of a gap as I was expecting. The gap for the top 4 is only in about 0.7 of a second, which is not horrible, you have to say here, even though Sebastian Marin is about 3.5 tenths up to the front right now.
Now, something that I want to point out, Brad, and there's something in the world called the Shadow Realm. I'm not a movie guy. I just know that it exists. But I'm going to not tell you Shadow Realm. I'm going to tell you Shadow Line. And I talk about this a lot of times with the dynamic track here on iRacing. Naturally, if something's in a shadow, it's not hot. And when a racetrack's not hot, it's fast. And when you watch D3 and 4 here, turn 1 and 2, it's all in the sun, it's all baked, can't do anything with it. But 3 and 4, and this is the line Justin Levine's going for, all the way to the top. See that shadow? That is grip. And if you've got the cojones to put that car in that shadow, you go fast. But as we've seen, it is a bit of a risk.
No risk, no reward. You can't bake a cake without cracking a few eggs to make an omelet as well. Maybe that's how that saying goes. I don't know.
Well, they do make eggless cakes now for people who have various forms of food problems, but I don't know how they taste. But anywho, put your best cake recipes in our YouTube chat. But John Forbes struggling through the bumps there, opens the door for Van Drugman. That battle will be interrupted in a big way, and a bigger way with Garrett Grant spinning in the back, but that was New Bigging, and then later Garrett Grant.
I feel like Garrett Grant just wanted some camera time here. Let's take a look at this replay of where this came from here with the 71 going in.
Oh, the moose is loose. Oh. Quite literally, he was loose. Oh, Hayden Swank, Senesac. Wow, that took out about 5 drivers in some capacity. And then Garrett Grant. I don't quite get how he spun out so far after the fact, but he may have just struggled to get the car pointed there through the bumps.
Almost saved it for Garrett Grant. That was just a case of almost saved it, but not able to. And now, this is where the pit window gets weird. Some of your guys up through the top 21 have been out for 27, 28 laps. They're all going to pit. But what about some of your drivers further back that have been out 10, 11, 12 laps? The answer is they all pit too. So we'll see if they do tires, if they do fuel, what they do, and how that'll shuffle things up. Because I would think for some of these drivers that had only been out for 11 laps, I would be only going for fuel at this point.
Now, if you look at it from another perspective too, we are 70 to go. Again, we haven't been privied with any numbers on fuel. I know on 1.5 miles in the real world, they said it was around 60 to 65 laps. So I don't know if you can make it from here. Maybe if you hypermile it. So by that logic, staying out's not a bad thing. But it's going to be our top 10 staying out, I do believe. Some drivers had already used 2 sets of tires here today. I will tell you, Jeremy Miller, I think he took fuel only. He had 2 sets of tires already used. He couldn't spare another, so he took fuel only down in the 11th spot, but 11th on back. Largely 4 tires, except for a couple. We had DeBoer, who's coming back in, and Reese Schaefer, who did take fuel only, and Schaefer will stay on the track. Again, some guys, Brad, they don't want to risk taking, just running out of tires tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to risk running out of tires, even though it seems like tires are not make or break for these drivers across these multiple areas here in the Chicagoland area. But, I mean, it's a case of, you got to balance what's comfortable for you, where your risk versus reward meter lies. And, I mean, for me personally, I would be very willing to run tires long run and run that fuel long run as well. But that just shows that maybe I don't have as much risk as the next person.
Yeah, the worst case scenario is you leave a set of tires on the wall when you had the opportunity to change it here, as we are now past the halfway point. Again, the first race of the chase here for the Studio Temporary Cup Series. Get a like and subscribe if you're on YouTube. Consider following and subscribing on the Twitch side of things. Appreciate everyone who is spending a Monday night with us here this evening. But pace car will pull into the pits. It's going to be Forbes and Nichols on the front row. Sebastian Marin is going to have a little bit of work to do in 11th, but I imagine he'll make it quickly. Let's see how this fires off.
And gets away well here up in the front. John Forbes Jr. trying to defend through 30 laps on the tires now. That is a significant number of laps here. We'll see if the grip continues to stay through for that number 70. Right now, the answer seems like a strong maybe, as Seth Knoll will look to work inside the outside. It's defended, though. What about that up in the front?
Doing a bang-up job here, as you can see. All those yellow denotions here, all these drivers, these chase drivers doing quite well. But here is the fresh tires. Sebastian is up to 6. The triple 6 situation, the 66 in the 6th spot, but looking to break that pretty quickly. That was a big slice from James Scioli there, the highest he's really been here today. Looks like the internet has ceased its issues. And there's teammate Jake Nichols high-low with the runoff of 4.
Jake Nichols going with a big run here. Now going to carve back up. That's a big block on Scioli to try to work forward. And up front, Seth Noel will get the pass done on John Forbes to move up into the lead here. So new leader, 3rd and 4th place, battling it out. Watch Sebastian Marin in 5th, and watch out for Justin Levine in P6. I would say if that number 19 can get up here, they're going to have something to say about this as well and want to get their hands in the battle.
Well, we are big wrecking off of 4.
Oh.
Trying to see who I see involved in it. Jeremy Miller with a whale of damage here. Brent Punkari stopped off turn number 4. Princess Daisy, I don't think even Mario is going to save her after this one. Actually, that's Princess Peach. Whatever, I tried.
Take a look here at how this one happened. And
oh, it's already wrecked.
Okay.
So Brett just... he probably didn't want us to see that, but we saw it anyways. But let me try to find where the wreck stemmed from here. This is a much better perspective. Oh, 16 got loose off the bottom there. Oh, 16 got loose off the bottom. I am getting used to this new camera pack for this track, so bear with me, folks. See right here, he got loose off the bottom, kind of bounced off the apron into Kazi, and then just kind of stacked a lot of drivers up there.
Yeah, at that point, Kazi was just a passenger. As soon as that initial contact happened, there was nothing that could be done. Variety of cars in and out of the pits, I have to say here, Corey, is we go lap 76 of 140, over halfway done, by the way. About 30 minutes of racing left to go.
If we stay green, you can see a lot of damage here. Jeremy Miller, who obviously his race has gone astray, but his cup season has not gone the way he would like it to. But of course, tomorrow night we will be live back with the Area Truck Series triple header here at Chicagoland, and that is a series where he will be going for the championship in the chase there. He has been competitive all season, so that's where his priority, I guess if you want to use that word, will be trying to get that truck championship. And then we'll be back here on Thursday for the Florida State Builders Pro Series. Basically only one race this season, rather in the chase, will be a not triple header, and that'll be race number 4. When we are at Richmond, those other 2 series will be at North Wilkesboro, so that'll be an interesting diversion, but that is well into the future, and that is not what we're worried about right now. It's going to be Seth Knoll, our 3-time Area Chicagoland winner, and John Forbes, who, again, probably having a season best run here on the outside of row 1.
Definitely looks like for John Forbes, this is a flip around of form and just the right time. You kind of talked about it earlier.
Brad, I gotta interject here because I just pieced things together. Sebastian Marin just pit, and if we do math, that's 63 to go. A lot of guys topping off here. I think this puts them at the edge of the fuel window.
That would make a lot of sense and prevent another pit stop to the end of the race. And, well, you never know. Depending on how these drivers drive, it could go to the end of the race and become a fuel mileage race, which would be something absolutely wild. But buckle in, because there's only one way to see it get there as we go side by side out of turn number 4, heading towards the front stretch to go green again. Lap 78 of 140, and still plenty of time for this to shuffle up.
Out of the poet restart zone there, and that'll be Seth Knoll with the whole shot and a really big stack up and shifting around here. Entering the corner, Drew Jua looking to the outside here, nearly 3 wide. Josh Caudle, he hasn't been here in the mix, but now he finds himself there through the shuffle of events in the 13. But now we're watching the fresher tires. Now we're watching the comers and goers come through the field. Watch out for that purple car, bottom 3 wide. Marin trying to get back to the front.
Marin giving it a hard charge challenge to get back to the front, holding that 3 wide. Down on the low line, not where Marin's really ran all day. So interesting to see Sebastian Marin dropping to the low line. Of course, only able to do that because the traffic now gets into the middle lane here and actually swaps back up to the high line. Says, you know what? I don't want a part of that, as Justin Levine is up there high as well. 3 by 3.
Just adding more sound effects to it there. The 19 and the 17. I really thought Sebastian was going to get meated in the sandwich there, so to speak, and Well, there's some freshly grated cheese to the inside. Adam Cabot there on the bottom. That worked way better than I thought it ever would. But up front, Seth Knoll and Drew Jua. Now, Drew does have 16-lap fresher tires than Seth Knoll. Now, we've seen tires mean a whole bunch. We've also seen tires mean absolutely nothing. So, really don't quite know which side of the coin is going to prevail here.
I feel like this is one of those moments where it would really, really benefit us to just have all of the team owners in a group chat to be able to message them and just say, hey, what's going on? Hey, what's going on? Hey, you want to tell me what your what's going on with your horse right now? And,
hey, ASL.
And you and like everything? Yeah. I mean, literally. But we can't get that here. Instead, we get Seth Knoll up to the front over Drew Jua, and Drew Jua trying to challenge through for the front.
I mean, let's be real. Of all the people watching this race, nobody knows what ASL means anymore because we're just too old for that. But anywho, Sebastian Marin to the inside of Adam Cabot here, side by side. Cole Hooper, who through the turnaround of shuffling has himself in the top 5 in that number 99 car. Started 18th, up 12. And there's Cabot, tight squeezed to the outside of John Forbes. And then Sebastian, who quickly gained about 3 or 4 spots, but hasn't really gained the rest here. And just quickly to go outside of the top 10, James Scioli there. Levine has dropped out. Zach Carr. Jacob Bell, good solid top 15 run for him. And then you have Michael Kerhand, who was the pole sitter, but really hasn't been anywhere near it since maybe a third distance in the race.
Yeah, Michael's a prime example here, I got to say, in that number 24 of it's one thing to be quick on one lap, but you got to put it together through a run in order to really, really capitalize on being able to qualify fast. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Look at the switch through Seth Noel, trying to get past Drew Jua. A little bit of contact here to the inside, and does look like that pass is going to be completed as of right now.
And he just couldn't clear, though, with the dive in 3. I think Jua may have kissed the fence there, and we're having some connectivity issues there from Knoll, but he will continue on, and that battle will continue through. You don't want to give up the top. He's got to clear somehow. He'll re-clear for the lead, but that's just going to put Drew Jua back in a spot to attack to the bottom. This may be the dagger. The diver into 3. Now, can Knoll recover for the crossover? Watch out. Rocky Boyd throwing his hat in the ring. Here's Knoll with the crossover, and the 16 lurking in the distance.
Rocky Boyd getting all the way up into 3rd here, up 13 places on the day, and is looking to go for a little bit more. Seth and Drew holding that side by side. That's going to invite everyone behind into the mix, but you can see Rocky Boyd, a very respectful competitor, going down the inside here, squeezing the inside into 3, trying to get that pass to settle.
Down to the bottom of the track, can't clear. Jua will have the mow off the top. Both of these drivers on fresher tires than what the race leader Seth Knoll has, but to what benefit will they provide? And then just in the rear, there is Cole Hooper, there is Adam Cabot, there is Sebastian Marin. And again, some of these drivers can make it all the way to the end, or so we think, such as Sebastian, such as Van Drugman. Let's pull it up on the ticker here. Let's not do it right this second. Rocky Boyd to the bottom of the racetrack. Seth Knoll to the middle, trying to hold on. Jua trying to take advantage. Seth doing everything he can to side draft the 16 back. He does just that.
I was going to say, I don't see this ending well at all, but somehow everyone able to keep it respectful and together and challenge through. A little bit of blinking there from Seth Knoll, trying to get past the 16 of Rocky Boyd the third. Dive to the inside here through turn number 3. And, well, can Seth make it stick? Seth currently the front chase driver of everyone in this pack and trying to represent well and get this season off to a good start here for the Chase.
Well, Rocky Boyd, not on my bingo card to have him P1 here, but having a great opportunity here to take advantage of a good situation. Now, he cannot make it to the end of the race on fuel. We'll bring up that information that I so promised to you. Seth Knoll, he is going to have to pit within 15 laps Now, he is going to 100% depend on a caution, but if you do the math here, 50 plus 13 or 14, that's about 63, 64 laps. I think that is in the realm of possibility for Sebastian, for Van Drugman, Jacob Bell, Justin Anasogak, and a few others to make it to the end of this race. So for some of them, hoping for a caution. For some, they want it to go to the end. Van Drugman with the dive in 3.
Van Drugman looking for the dive into 3 here to come along with Sebastian Marin, and Cole Huber not able to capitalize at this time, but Marin going to drop all the way down to the flat here and reclaim P3. I feel like this is deja vu, watching Sebastian Marin carve through a field here in area and kind of say, okay, I started really far back, but you know what? Here I am. All of you improved and did good, and well, that's where we leave it. So I would say keep your eye on Sebastian Marin and see, 1, if he broke the order, and 2, is this guy serious?
I think he is serious, and this has been some hot racing here this evening. And what else is hot? Rick's Hot Sauce. Head to rickshotsauce.com to get yourself some Palm Beach pineapple, Lokahatchee Heat golden garlic, or Palm Beach pineapple. And, of course, someone in this series is going to get $100 via Rick's Hot Sauce for that Rookie of the Year battle. Head to rickshotsauce.com. As Sebastian looking to the bottom, and this is the worst case scenario, Brad. If the guy who can make it to the end of the race, or so we think, can get the lead, naturally, basically everybody in the field, their only chance is a caution flag.
A caution flag and a good restart. Don't forget that part as well. They'd have to have a really strong restart to get back past Rocky Boyd here, assuming that Rocky didn't pit in. Of course, Rocky has pit in 4 times. I would assume that's all 4 tires gone right now, which is impressive to see here at 108 on the interstate that comes through, because most of the time that's kind of your signal of where things are going to get bad, but somehow things are just absolutely crazy on the track.
And some racing here, Justin Levine, who we thought he was going to go for the win, but he is back in the mid-teens right now, a little bit further up. Chase battle here, John Forbes, James Scioli, 2 of these drivers, both of them are going to be in requirement to pit in very short order here, as you can see here with the information on John Forbes at 52 laps. So expect him in probably around the century mark, maybe a couple laps sooner or later. And you got Drew Jua, who just talked about him going for the lead. He's fallen back to about 7th. But here's a number that we really haven't talked about, Brad, and this is the actual tangible fall off. And it looks like for Rocky Boyd, right around about 9/10 of a second. For Sebastian Marin, right at a second.
Check out Seth Noel's fall off, though. That's an interesting one to note there, because it's 53 laps on the tires, and you can see that fall off is just over a second. So there is a bit of a plateau once drivers get a bit further in that fall off that really sort of settles itself down, and well, that can be taken advantage of too if you know how to work it, and you can make that system work for you in your pit stop cycles here. Watch the 73 with a squeeze on Drew Jua.
And here, speaking of making it work like Missy Elliott, here's Sebastian Marin making it worth it. I'll drop that one there. I got nowhere to go with it. But Rocky Boyd to the bottom, rather to the top of the track, pinching down to the bottom. Sebastian trying to make advantage of that fresh tires on the bottom. And that side-by-side bringing Van Drugman into play here. Sebastian's going to have to really send it on in. He'll do just that. Let's see if there's a crossover. Do have a lapper top of the shot here who may get into play, but Van Drugman with a head of steam off of 4.
Van Drugman just dropped a gear to disappear here.
Oh, whoa,
coming
whoa,
in through.
Still contact, more contact, big save by Marin, cost him all his momentum, huge block, trying to recover. Van Drugman down to the flat, Seth Knoll into play here as we get by Jeremy Miller, and that could have ended catastrophically, but so far, Marin survived, not just wrecking his vehicle, survived with the race lead.
Did that happen? That was impressive here, especially considering minimal to no damage on every single car that was in that camera shot, in this camera shot. can't believe they somehow got away with that. But you know what? You don't look a gift horse in the mouth. And I'm not going to do so right now as we hit 100 of 140 laps this time across the line.
I have no idea what that saying is, but you don't know half of mine either, so I guess we're even in that regard. But the top two, they are in position, or so we believe, to make it to the end of this race on their petroleum situations here. That'd be 64 laps. I'm only going off real-world numbers and just what I feel is accurate, but could be wrong. Adam Cabot there in third. A good charge through the field here. Does have some slightly older tires, I do believe. But again, we're seeing late run that the tires just kind of stagnate around a second off. So once that fall off kind of completes, these older tire guys, they can easily hang with the leaders. And here comes Van Drugman again.
Van Drugman challenging here to the bottom on Marin and able to clear that one through, but now you've got to defend it. Marin with a head of steam here down the backstretch. Doesn't go for a late lunge into three, doesn't go for anything overly aggressive. Is still there, though, on Van Drugman, and we've talked to Van Drugman before, who said, if I'm going to beat Marin, I want to do it fair, square, and on track. And I feel like this might be the most competitive we've seen these two be near each other all season long here into Chicagoland, where they've decided, you know what, we're going to just race at each other as much as possible on the way down. I'm sure that'll make the flights more funning on the sim world.
Absolutely. Maybe they'll do the actual flights themselves. Who knows? That'd be right up your alley, Brad. But what I do know is going to be quite painful, and it's going to happen at any time. The Band-Aid's going to have to get ripped off. It's been on there for 60 laps. It's basically cemented into his skin now, and he's really not wanting those hair follicles to be on that Band-Aid, but it has to come off there, Brad. I say all that to say Seth Knoll is mere laps, if not lap, away from having to make his pit stop, when presumably the top two don't have to, and the majority of the rest of the field still has to enter the pits as well.
It's a hard position to find yourself in whenever you need to go off cycle because you gambled on something that wouldn't happen. You can tell for Seth, it's almost, I want to say, just a no way is the answer. Honestly, I hate to steal what Seth is writing, but it's Beethoven, and I will let a robot finish the rest of that go because it's an interesting one to listen to, I'll say that much.
And there he is. Well, he's into the wall, insult for injury there, but it didn't really slow him down at all. As we're seeing the tires fall off. You don't want to be on old tires, and then it evens out, and then it evens out, and then if anything, it almost looks like the second wind. The old tires almost, we saw this in the first run too, the old tires actually almost seem to be better the longer they go. After that fall off, Cole Hooper hard in contact to the wall. Saw that one live. Hospital wobble save there. But we will stay green, which good for a lot of guys, terrible for some others here, as Sebastian going back for the lead on Van Drugman.
Yeah, I have no idea how that was caught there, but it didn't cause any big hiccups in this battle, and well, that's what we like to see as that battle continues its way along here and going as down the front stretch yet again.
What
no, your back stretch, I was going to just talk to you about your coverages. When you can't, call me back, 260-3473. Thank you.
Is that, I didn't think you were in sales, but I guess everyone's in sales in some capacity here. James Scioli and Drew Jua side by side here, as I think we have a battle for second again. Adam Cabot trying to take it, but kind of both of them being stuck and almost stuck back in by Van Drugman, who's not really leading the race with a full head of steam now. Is any of that fuel saving to get to the end? Not quite sure. But Seth Knoll, oh, what's the smoke here?
Oh, that was somebody off at the bottom of the track. I can't tell who that was, though, but somebody having a big moment there going along, and well, we'll see if we can't dial up who that was.
Might have been Jeremy Miller. He's in the pits. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe he's already in the pits anyways. May have been Seth Berger. Cue that up very, very quickly here. Yeah, that's where that smoke came from. If he was trying to pit, Well, style points get him a 10, execution gets him a 1 because he would have got a penalty from that. But anywho, back to the live footage. Just waiting for the lap for Seth Knoll because he is, I mean, I'm not going to say the number, but he is basically cementing that the other guys absolutely have no problem making. So if he's gone this far, Brad, I mean, I think the rest of them only have to go 64. So.
Yeah, Seth is sitting here really gambling things out to the end right now. I have no idea how Seth has the fuel or the tires to do this or what sort of saving is going on inside that car. That is lifting coast, almost turning off in coast territory for Seth going along. Of course, Seth does know, though, you pit under green flag cycle, it absolutely hurts here. On board with Sebastian Marin down the backstretch, 185, 186. miles an hour was the ending total here for this Sunday.
And no saving going on, as we don't expect to see. And now we do have a pit stop, Michael Curhan and Zach Carr. So again, some of these drivers on those varying strategies. We do have a group of drivers who pitted on 41 laps to go. Now, let's, as the data refreshes, so if Nolan Scioli can go 70 laps, Cabot and Rocky Boyd, here's Marin going for the race lead. We are 30 laps to go. I guess there might be some plausibility that Cabot and Boyd can make this race. As here's John Forbes and Seth Noel in at lap number 70 in their stint.
Heartbreaking for Seth Noel, out on track for 70 laps, and it all comes down to a green flag pit stop, which will put you out of position, out of run with the leaders, and unfortunately is going to end the chances there for the win. That's got to really, really hurt here. I'm not going to lie, for everyone, honestly, as it goes through, for something like that to take you out so close to the end of the race. It's absolute heartbreak here. But up front, it's music to Van Drugman and Marin's ears, because that means if they went that long without pitting, then these two are very much set on their fuel strategy. Tire strategy, I mean, that's a whole toss-up right now. But at least fuel strategy-wise, we know they'll get to the end.
Now, one thing I'm curious about is here is Scioli into the pits. Now, I think he was not on the same... Actually, I'm not quite sure. We didn't really follow up on his strategy, but either way, he is into the pits. He was 71 laps into his run. Now, again, we got to do some math here, which is not our forte, but we're going to do it anyways because we basically have no choice. We are on what'll be... Oh, jeepers, Brad. 25 laps to go? Yeah, that's right. 25 laps to go.
Yep.
25 plus 45 is 70. So that is right dead on the number for Adam Cabot. And let's we'll put this graphic away and we'll put his onboard. Is he doing anything cheeky to try to make sure that he can go 70?
At least from that?
Yep. A little bit.
Okay.
But all the while, Van Drugman's trying to hang on. Marin going full bore. A lot of good defense being played there by Van Drugman. Taking the air away. We saw it in the real world. Aero is quite prominent, even at these multi-groove tracks that the next gen is the best at. You can still do a lot of aero working here, and Van Drugman doing just that here in the first race of the chase here in the Area Cup Series, brought to you by the Studio Temporary. Will Van Drugman get back to victory lane for the first time since May? Or will Sebastian Marin get to victory lane for the first time? I believe it was since the end of April.
I have a feeling on who's going to win right now, and I don't know if either of our top two are going to win at this point, because I'm looking into the future as we're getting in towards 22 to go. if these two start racing really, really aggressively with each other, which should come sooner rather than later, they start to burn up the car, burn up the tires, and then more importantly than that, they can't overheat the engine and have to cool it down somehow, which then would slow them way up, and we'd start introducing bigger issues in the desert than just, hey, you need a shirt to go under your shirt.
Yeah, potentially. We do have another chase driver due to pit. That is Drew Jua. He is going to have to push that thing 81 laps, which is just flat. Ain't going to happen, and he knew it ain't going to happen because he is in pit road right now. But the other drivers, you could see Justin Anasogak. You could see Patrick Moose in plausibility to make it to the end. Rocky Boyd is on a stretch case to make it to the end. There's Jake Nichols. He is trying to run through and get whatever he can on fresh tires. He is 1 lap down in the 19th position. Seth Knoll, 20th, 1 lap down. Then you have Forbes, 21st. Scioli, 22nd. All these drivers trying to get back onto the lead lap as quickly as possible. So if a caution does come out, they are not as detrimental.
It's going to be really important to make sure you're on your P's and Q's through the final 20 laps of this race. Of course, if a caution or anything comes out, it changes everything. But as of right now, we are green through with 20 laps to go. And, well, that almost was a jinx of everything I had said to date there, because that was Rocky Boyd who wanted to rock the boat a little bit.
Yeah, this is the comers and goers. And now, again, we're only off by about a second, but this is the most notable time in the run where the tires show their age, and that's the first 10 laps. After that, they kind of flatline as Anasogak and Cabot battling. Anasogak, remember, he can make it to the end. The top 4 can make it to the end with ease. Then you have a couple drivers who it's going to be close on. But basically what we have now is what we have for the race. And Van Drugman has gotten the slightest bit of comfort over Sebastian Marin, and that's Jeremy Miller. He is surprisingly only 1 lap down with as damaged as that car is. Trying to get his lap back. And Jake Nichols as well. As this race, only about 10 minutes left to play. Van Drugman, can he play defense for 10 more minutes, about 18 more laps?
Certainly looks like, as of right now, Van Drugman on a strong defense charge here. Look at that, even dropping the line a little bit down the backstretch. Again, that backstretch stays curved the whole way, but doing just enough that is needed to try to shake up the pulls on the credit that give lenders your ability to pre-contact you and give you 3 minutes and say, hey, we've looked at your stuff, you're 3 minutes out from the loan and we can pay you. That is all a scam. Do not sign up for that.
That seemed too personal, Brad.
It was a little bit.
Ironically enough, I just watched one of those videos on those reverse scammers who end up absolutely decimating the scammers, and interesting little videos here. But this is hopefully an interesting video for you guys. I know we've having a lot of fun with the commentary, or with our special puns and lines and references, and hope you're enjoying it. But the racing itself has also been top notch here today. I think we've only had 4 cautions, I believe 5 cautions for 13 laps, 15 lead changes, 15 changes of the lead, as Justin Anasogak, is he gonna get on the track? This is gonna be close. Is that gonna be a caution? Oh my goodness gracious. By about 3 feet of spinning, that is a caution flag. It wasn't. It wasn't what we thought it was. Okay, I got to go a little bit further back here. Okay.
There it is.
Tag team back again. I'm not, unfortunately, going to tell a friend here, though, as Jeremy Miller, slow.
Yeah, Let's take one more look at that, because that was an interesting one for sure here as we ride on board. Let's get one last look here on board with Anna Sogak.
One could argue that he got a terrible run off the corner there. Drew Jua, I think he got some residual in that. But live shots here, by far, no question, everyone's going to come into the pits here for their what should be last set of tires. And luckily for some of those drivers who did pit, they many of them, I believe, got back onto the lead lap naturally. So they won't have to be tail end with the wave around, which is the most important situation here. But this turned into a what will be. We saw how chaotic it can be, Brad. We're going to basically have ourselves a 10-lap shootout here.
Well, not the way I saw the chase round one going here, going into a 10-lap shootout. Not traditionally what you see here, and that's going to, you think some of the racing has been absolutely wild. Now, just wait until we get our hands on getting everything set up and stopping things from getting wild. And, well, it's Jake Nichols very slow in the box.
Well, because he had to drive around. He was so far away, I believe he had to catch up to the field and basically didn't get to pit with the rest of the field here. But here is Van Drugman, our race leader. Everybody in front of him, those are all wave around drivers, so they will be going full bore to get back to the back of the field. Now, James Scioli, contrary to what I thought, not everybody did manage to unlap themselves. So that is John Forbes, Scioli, Seth Knoll. They are all having to take the wave around. So that means they could not pit, which is older tires. But then the second double whammy to that is that they have to start tail end of the longest line, which gives them the hardest opportunity to gain spots.
That is going to be an unfortunate position to be in and find yourselves through. This is just one of those things that, well, I've said it all night that sometimes a little bit of luck has to play your way, and this is one of those moments where a little bit of luck has to play your way as we come around the corners here. Lights are off on the pace car, so 1 to go is the call, and, well, up front, same thing we've been seeing, 56 and 66 with the Moose and Cabot right there behind as we come into the restart zone. We are green, and great run from Van Drugman on the inside. On that restart here, Marin trying to defend a little bit. We're already going 3 wide, mixing things up.
Look at the Moose. He's getting underneath Sebastian Marin there off the corner. The momentum won't subside there. It'll fall back, but Adam Cabot there. All the while, Van Drugman is trying to do whatever he can to run 12 qualifying laps here. And Marin, this is the worst situation for Marin. The track is cooler now. You can see all the shadow. So it's going to be easier to run flyers. It's going to be easier to run the fastest laps you've run all race. And that's going to make Marin's job that much harder to get by. But he's up for the challenge here with 11 laps to go. You can just watch the battle tracker here in the middle there, 1/10 of a second. And let's see through the corner if he goes in the positive direction or the negative.
In the quarter there, it looks like stayed very steady within like a couple hundredths either way, which tells me that that is steadiness in the car here. Marin's going to be looking to put pressure on Van Drugman, but remember, Sebastian Marin is a very, 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 very smart driver who has tons of experience in handling cars and can pretty well get you wherever and whatever you want to know.
And it's going to turn into a situation of guessing on the bottom of the track in 3 and 4. That's going to be the fastest lane on old tires on a nice shadowed in corner. Here in 1 and 2, there's a little bit more decision to be made. And if Van Drugman can guess where Marin's going to run, where he's doing a good job of it thus far, one of the biggest leads he's had, that's going to work in the 56's advantage. But Adam Cabot here, he is doing something a little off kilter. He is running different lanes. Here's Marin all the way to the top, just trying to do something. Adam Cabot tried to run the bottom, but again, Brad, when the track is cool, the geometric best line is where you want to be, but unfortunately, that's where the dirty air is.
Yeah, it's an interesting way to watch and see for that best line. You know, dirty air is such a big deal here in the next gens, and you know, we've had the conversation time and time through the season. Dirty air's always been there, but for some reason it just seems amplified in conversation as of late. Taking a look a little bit further back here, Bryce Sinizak trying to find a good run on the day. The 09 here is there's a little bit of shuffling. Looks like a little bit of possible miscommunication between things. We'll see how that goes out for Garrett Grant right now, currently in P17.
And you see James Scioli here in 19th spot, trying to see what he could get. I will give the little bit of a reprieve award to Jake Nichols. Oh, never mind. He just absolutely mutilated that turn 4 wall, trying to see what he could get. Remember, he was one of the ones who did unlap himself. He got to pit. He got to put fresh tires on, but he absolutely just kamikaze that turn 4 wall, and hopefully there's no toe damage there. Ahead of him, Reese Schaefer, who quietly is now 3rd of the chase drivers, maybe 4th here as Nichols looks to the inside. But all the while, Van Drugman has the biggest lead he's had all day, just nearly a half second.
If I can remember how to hit the unmute button, that would be amazing. Mute to cough and then forget to unmute. That is not how things work along here. Van Drugman holding that lead over Marin, 0.4 of a second, and it's still gaining here, which is absolutely impressive to me. The fact that that gap is opening here going into the race. 4 laps to go for Van Drugman. 4 wins on the season and looking to pick up win number 5 here. And honestly, what's been impressive style, Marin maybe trying to save a little bit to go for a last ditch charge. I just don't know if it's there, even if that is what's happening.
And of course, Adam Cabot, who is in the 3rd spot here, not necessarily in our chase here, but has got a pole, has got a couple top 5s this season, has been in the top 10 multiple times, 5 times to be specific. So this is a very good run for him, and he's not necessarily done. Because as it stands right now, I mean, he's putting more of a challenge on Sebastian than Sebastian has to put on Van Drugman here. Looking to the top of the racetrack, coming to 2 to go. There is some smoke. Remember, if we make it to the white, we get to the checkers. And looks as though we are currently on pace to do so.
Coming through to Marin now, shifting lines here, trying to defend from Adam Cabot behind. Up front here, LVV's Van Drugman has won 4 races this season, heading into 3 and 4. Has to be feeling pretty good. If we get the white flag, the checkered flag will end it. And here we go, Barney waving the white flag. 1 lap to go here, Corey, in the first round of the chase.
If I remember correctly, he had to miss tennis practice and had to talk to his teacher there and say, sorry, I have to miss practice because I need to do a race. Went out and won Daytona, then went out and won 3 more. 4 wins on the season in very quick succession. And then he kind of stalled out over the summer months. But now that the chase has started, the lights are shining brightest, and he is going to come to the occasion. Van Drugman with the win here in the chase at Chicago.
As the field comes across the line, and what a valiant effort from Sebastian Marin, Adam Cabot, and we can't not talk about the Moose, up 29 places on the day there in 4th place. Talk about a run up, tons of drivers with what was that? What is happening?
I've never really done a post-race replay before, but
I guess there's a time and place for anything.
He just little congratulatory contact between Jua and Van Drugman there went astray, and Hopefully Adams, I mean, at least that'll make Adam Cabot's car past Tech, because he will have to get the free pass on that. But Van Drugman will head and do his celebratory activities here on the front straightaway. And while he does that, let's go and start our post-race show. Looks like he may do himself a little Polish victory lap of sorts. But the final margin of victory here today at Chicago ends up being 0.4 of a second over Sebastian Marin, with Adam Cabot, the Cheese Man, going to be 0.6 back in third. The Moose with a good run in fourth, with Rocky Boyd, one of the best runs of the season for him, in fifth. Joseph Causey in sixth. Then we have some more chasers, Nichols and Schaefer. The Boss Man with a top 10, as well as Tyler Nichols.
Moving up there, P11 was Ben Pierce with Brett Pugari in 12th. Bryce Sinisak, P13. Christian DeBoer in 14th. Seth Noel and John Forbes Jr. end up in 15th and 16th, with Garrett Grant, Max Service, James Scioli, and Zach Carr, your top 20.
And rounding out things here this evening, a bunch of chase drivers. Curry and the pole sitter, Caudell. And then Justin Levine, Anna Sogat, Cole Hooper, Drew Jua back there. Logan Helton, remember he was involved in very interesting situations early in the race, and then the rest of these drivers here all had less than stellar runs here in Joliet. But you've kind of been this guy's interview all season, Brad, so I'm going to save our winning interview for you if he's here. Well, he's not, and Sebastian's not. They'll be here. But who is here is Adam Cabot here in third here on the evening. Probably a season best run. You were up there going for second. A lot of dynamics at play here, Adam, and strategies and all that whatnot, but you got yourself third. How's it feel?
You know, it feels pretty damn good. Honestly, just to finally finish one of these out and just get a solid finish here. First time I'm talking to you guys this season, so that means that it has not gone great. I feel like I've had a lot of speed this season, and just, whether just due to strategies or cautions at weird times, or my old computer, finally got a new computer, my old computer just kept crashing on me, and Michigan really sticks out to me because that race I was at worst going to finish second. I was barreling down to get the win, I think, with a couple laps to go. So that one still stings, but like I said, to finally, not just have speed, but to finish one off feels pretty good. So I think whether or not that last caution came out or not, I think it was going to be third either way, because I'm pretty sure that Sebastian and Van Drugman were going to be able to make it on fuel. I was saving pretty hard at the end to be able to make it, and I was on track too. So, yeah, like I said, just good to finally get a solid finish here, and hopefully it's not the last time this season I'm talking to you guys.
Yeah, speaking of that, I know this time of the season we've had the winner take all, the elimination style format, where a lot of non-chase drivers struggle with how to race the chasers. What kind of mindset as a non-chaser do you come into? Obviously you don't want to be that guy, but as you said, you can win one of these races and you want to go for it. How do you find that balance?
Honestly, I really don't race them any differently, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. Like, I'm always going to race people the way I think is fair. So, and also, like you said too, like if it wasn't for the mishaps I had with my computer crashing like 3 times this season and missing a race, I definitely would have made the playoffs, or made the chase, I guess it's called now. So, yeah, a little bit bummed to not be, especially when you start out the chase as a non-chaser and all of a sudden you start getting the good runs and the finishes. It's definitely a bit of a bummer to have missed it, but I'm hoping to just string together some solid finishes, maybe pick up a win before the season's out, and head into next season with some momentum.
All right, well, we'll be looking forward to it, man. And any final words or thanks before we let you go?
Just a shout out to 609 and Matt Liveries for sticking with me, and hopefully, like I said, we can get some solid team points the rest of the season and finish strong.
All right, man. Congrats on the run, and we'll see what you can do with the last 4.
Sounds good. Thanks.
And then we'll head to the top of the podium. Again, I think you've interviewed him on almost every single win this season. Brad has Mr. Van Drugman.
Van Drugman, win number 5 on the season in fashionable style, I have to say here, with a very solid run up into the front. How you feeling, my friend?
I'm back, fellas. I know y'all missed me. It's been since Darlington, and then for a win, it's been since Indy. I know y'all were missing me, but that was one of the funnest races I've ever ran. Even if I didn't win, that was so fun. We can move around. There was tire wear. The rear tires would go. And, man, to battle the best there is and to beat them, it's one of the best drives of my career. It was so satisfying. A good race to Seb and everyone behind because I had a blast. I want to do another 140 if we can, but man, I'm just happy, man. I'm just excited. This just makes me happy. Like I can't explain any other feelings, but I'm ready to go. Where are we going next week? Because I didn't really look at the points, but I saw where everyone else finished, and I think we had a pretty good points day today, or might be up towards the top. So let's keep this momentum rolling to
Hofcroft, Bristol
next week. I think it might be Bristol. I'm not sure though, but I'm gonna take a guess.
It is indeed Bristol, and I'll tell you, coming out of this one, you're going to be top of the points, so you should be feeling pretty good here, Van Drugman. Going into Bristol, of course, any thoughts about Bristol for next week?
I want to call it my hometown track, even though Nashville's closer to me, but for the longest time, Bristol was my home track. I love Bristol. I haven't really tested it with this they kind of remodeled the track and also kind of, remodeled this car. I'm going to have to really put some laps in and get used to it. But other than that, I'm super excited for it. And I'm glad we got what's the saying? The train wreck on the rails. Because we've had, since Indy, had a poor finish at Dover, kind of got snubbed at Darlington. Then Indy road course, I just sucked. And then Talladega and Kansas, just things didn't go my way towards the end. So, just glad to get the train back on the tracks, and, we're just going to keep moving.
Absolutely, man, and a few more races left to try to secure that championship. Anyone you want to thank? Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
The team, LVV, Seb, because Seb was the reason, how I was driving the car. Very smooth and on and off throttle. I mean, he taught me that, so it was student versus the coach right there at the end. I'm just glad I'm gonna have those bragging rights for a little bit because we hang in the same chats and stuff. But other than that, EPI for sponsoring the team. I'm not much of a marketable guy, but we got one good sponsor, and I'm glad they're on board with us. So that's all I got. Thank y'all for broadcasting. Thank you to the man that makes it happen, Jesus Christ and God. Thank y'all. Thank them for everything. And we will see you next week at Bristol.
Awesome. Congrats, Van. Take it easy, and, well, I'll talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, you will.
What's that?
Last but not least.
I was going to say, what's that song that you won't know, Brad? 'Cause it's a rap song, and he's not cocky, he's confident. If you call him it's the best, it's a compliment. It's a rap song. Someone tell me who it's by. But anyways, Sebastian Marin, well, you just got a lot of praise by Van Drugman. Basically, your teachings, your style, he said, basically is what won him the race here today. You finished second. I know Dirty Air was tough, but the strategy was also tough. This race was all over the place with different strategies. How difficult was it making those calls on the box tonight?
It was pretty tough, especially considering the amount of tires sets that we had in the pits and looking at the length of the race. Got caught out, with the first yellow. Probably should have pit there, but then we kind of got good fortune there around halfway. Since we had that extra set, we could have used it. And then after that, I was surprised that nobody else pitted when we could make it on fuel, considering how important track position is. You would think, if everyone pits right there, take tires, take fuel, then they'd be good and they could stay out. But nobody did, which I guess luckily was really good for us. And then once me and Van got 1 and 2, I was just trying to play the team game and just kind of try and secure at least one of us to win before I started attacking him. But by the time that I was going to try to attack him, I rode in Dirty Air for too long and just burned the front tires off of it. So, got a yellow there that gave me a second chance, but with the track being as fast as it was there at the end, it was going to be almost impossible to complete that pass. So I'll take a good points day. That's about as good as a win, especially, being a teammate that wins the race. So, good way to start the playoffs.
Absolutely. You gained, I think it was 14 spots. Looks like you got up to 20 points back. The problem is top 4 are going to be the ones that you're going to be battling for. And then we have 2 short tracks, and then again, ending it at Auto Club, which I know a lot of guys have deemed to be kind of a lottery. So what race do you feel like is the most important to get through in order to have the points in where they need to be for Auto Club? It's 2 short tracks and a lottery we basically got with Charlotte.
Oh, man, I would say, to be honest, for me, I just gotta somehow survive the short tracks. I don't consider myself a good short track racer, so I think going there and just getting a top 10 will be good enough for me. To be honest, it's just not getting involved in any incidents. I think as long as I can just finish the races without any major incidents, then we can have a shot. So
I know you got a lot of uphill climb, but you're the one for the task, man. Congrats on the solid run. Any final shouts or anything before we let you go?
Yeah, shout out to Van for putting on a great performance there. Shout out to LVV, got a 1-2 for them tonight, and shout out to you guys for putting on this broadcast. Appreciate it every time we watch these races. So it's a lot of fun.
All right, man. Thanks for the kind words, and we'll catch you at Bristol next week, or maybe later this week if you want to have fun. Who knows?
Yeah, probably. We'll see.
See ya.
See ya.
Well, Brad, we had ourselves what we like to call a barn burner here today, and the cream, of course, rises to the crop, or the top, or the crop, or wherever it rises to. The best come to the top here when the stars shine bright. God, I used all my lines earlier in the show.
It was a great race through. I love seeing long-run, clean, competitive racing. It really does make for some of the best battles. You know, sometimes those big, heavy contact, crazy races are fun. They have their place. Save it for next week. Chicagoland. This is the track where long-run competitiveness really does make the difference, and I loved it. Can't wait to see, though, how it gets when we get to my closest still active NASCAR track of Bristol and get to watch that chaos.
Absolutely. That will be a barn burner of a show. Maybe we'll shake up the events, but if you liked here the race at Chicago, stay tuned. Make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll be back here tomorrow night with the Area Truck Series. Same track, same channel, same place. We'll also be live with the Triple Bypass Series full week content here on the channel. Would love to have you guys all with us here, both on YouTube. And if you're on Twitch, consider liking and following there. Give us the opportunity to like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff on Twitch. But that's going to be Corey and Brad signing out of the booth. Have a great night, and we'll catch you next time.
See you.